Hi guys, Vitek here. So here we are. We're going to call this part 4 for framing. We're continuing on this is the middle containers. This is a spare bedroom and 2 offices, Angie's office and my office. And here we are, we're just framing up the sides and the outer walls basically. And then the next day I'm going to come back in and do the middle walls. So we're making pretty good progress. I did not do the ceilings in the other spare bedroom that you can see through the opening there. I want to do both these sets of containers, the ceilings all at once. That's so four full containers, all the ceiling joists. That's going to be fun. But anyway, everything went pretty good. It's going quite well. Angie's great help. She's doing most of the cutting for all the 2x, and I'm sitting there nailing everything up. So simple walls, you know, stud walls. They're very easy to do. There's no extra work to do there. You just have to put them up and bang them out. 16-ounce centers, and off you go. And then I probably don't show it on the video, but I make headers for, this is a door to 36-inch, and I make the headers for both sides. So this wall here is actually going to be around 10 inches thick. It's 4.5 per side, right? 4-ish with the drywall. So 9 plus a little bit in the middle. Pretty thick. Anyway, here we're doing the frame up on the outside wall where the windows are. That always takes a little time because you have to frame around the windows. The measurements are all the same. We made sure that the windows were all the same height off the floor, etc. But I always double check now. I don't second guess because we did have to cut out a couple of those and redo them. So I put them up, make the initial 2x that go on the outside of the windows. I check them. If they're good, I continue with the rest of the framing on it. So hopefully you're getting something out of these sequences of videos. What we're trying to do is show you the actual process we're undertaking to build everything. Of course, it's not a tiny house, so we're not done in a month. It's going to take probably, we're guessing, 4 to 6 more months to do most of the inside build. But it's going pretty good. The 2x are going up. We don't have a crew, so it's strictly family and myself mostly. Building all this stuff. Jake and Angie and Pop, they come over and we try to bang it out. It goes pretty good. As long as somebody's cutting and somebody's nailing, we're on a pretty good mission here. So this is June 2nd. So this is day 2 of basically the framing of the inside containers, the offices and the 1 spare bedroom. We're not going to put a closet in this one. It's just going to be dressers and stuff like that, which kind of make more sense than throwing an actual 2x4 closet in these kind of smaller bedrooms. Anyway, straightforward frame up. There's 36-inch door, 38-inch rough opening width-wise, and 82.5 from the floor up to the header. So generic rough openings for 36-inch door. The fun part is trying to figure out how to nail it to the outside wall. This particular wall just ended up being 3 2x on the very outside there. The cripple plus the 2 full 2x, so I could actually nail it up on the well, I'm not sure what you call those things, but you know, the extra mounts I put on the outside wall so I can nail stuff to whatever those are. So I true this wall up. Of course, I don't nail it just yet. It's a nice tight fit. Did that on purpose. Here I do a 2x4 that I put the clamp on. Put a 14.5-inch connection to it. Nail that up. Go on top, and I use a full stud to actually nail this together, almost like a top plate. Just remember, typically with framing walls, you have a top plate to join all the walls together for more additional support, etc. So we don't have that problem. So here I'm working on Angie's office. This is the angled hallway. So I have to do I believe it's like a 32 or 33 degree angle. You see a little foot extension there on there. No big deal. Just an angled cut. I put a sister on it so I can nail it to the existing wall there and secure it. Pretty straightforward. Once it's all nailed together, there's really no load. This isn't structural again, just for sheetrock. So nail this up, put it up, and true that up pretty quickly, and everything's good. So you might have noticed I'm not nailing anything to the ground yet. I'm actually basically building out all the walls. Once I get the ceiling joists in to secure the walls together, just in case I have to move anything, then I'm going to nail them to the concrete. So I'm doing it in phases on purpose, just in case I have to finagle the levelness of the walls. Right now everything's true and level, so everything's cool. So here I'm starting the angled wall to Angie's office. There's going to be a door right there on the right side near the angle, and basically I'm doing it's 2 angled sets of 2x4s, and I do 16 on center. I mark out where I want the door, rough opening, etc. And I always write down where I want the cripple and where I want the full stud, just to make sure I don't goof up. I'm going to build this in 2 sections as well. A little sweeping going on just to get all the nailers. It's collated nails, and they have the plastic that holds them together, and that spits everywhere. So I try to get that off the ground so the 2x don't rock on it. So same door, it's 36 wide, so 38 rough opening, 82.5 inches off the ground, etc. Basically, I have the zip sheeting. The green stuff is 1/2 inch. Turns out to be perfect for making headers. You just put 1/2 inch between 2 2x4s, and there's your header. I'm overdoing that a little bit because we probably don't need typical headers, but it makes the dimensions perfect. So I'm doing the process. Here I'm doing the other wall. This is pretty quick, and then I slap them together. I didn't really show you how I did the corner, but I had to put a couple extra 2x4s for support. It's all pretty solid at that point, and then I nail this in, do the same thing with the clamps, nail in a sister, and then I go up top and do the same thing. I didn't do a full one because we're going to have, I did it underneath there, because we're going to have rafters running perpendicular to the sides of the container. You can see the percolation on top of the roof. We're going to go parallel with those. So here I'm doing the last corner, and that went pretty okay. So here I'm just doing the last kind of nail up on the corner. I had to get a couple pieces of zip sheeting for back spacing so I can nail the 2x together. There's an extra 2x in there. You can't really see it from this angle, but it needed a little bit extra support. Once I put it in there and nailed it up, it was all good to go. So here's a real time just to walk through with the GoPro. This is the angled hallway. That, of course, is the spare bathroom, what we're calling the middle bathroom. Then you go down the hallway, and you bump. If you go straight on, that's a spare bedroom, and if you go to the left, that's a big spare bedroom with its own bath and living quarters. No kitchen, just a gigantic apartment, what we're calling an apartment, but it's really just a spare bedroom. And there's my supervisor. It's a hot, humid day. That's Izzy. She's almost 15. She's walking around inspecting everything. Here's Angie's office. Came out real nice, I think. It's actually bigger than I expected it to feel once I actually walked through it, so that's good. Our prior house had a much smaller office. It was a lot tighter. But anyway, it's going pretty good. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk at you later. So Pop came over on June 3rd and started working on my office walls. Pretty straightforward. It's one angled wall on the left. You see the tape on the ground. Pop's looking at it, and we're going to throw the wall on where the light's shining right now. I went and got some wood. These are all 93-inch studs. Pretty much every room is like that, 93-inch studs, plus the 1.5 top and bottom plate, so it's 96 inches all the way to the ceiling. And it was good help having Pop help me out. He basically holds stuff while I nail it and puts it in place. And hopefully, I'm not sure I got this on video, but this wall, we propped it up with a support piece. I went in to cut some wood, and the wall actually tipped on him, so hit his arm. And he's a good guy. He's only 85. Hey, what could go wrong? Anyway, the wall falling was he was kind of moving something over. Not sure, but anyway, right now we're working on the very end piece. You know, look, these are not like support walls like in a normal house. These are just basically to hold drywall up. So we can bang this stuff up, not have a top plate that puts everything together. Typically in a framing situation, you have a top plate that basically makes everything nice and straight and true. We don't need that because we're just going to put ceiling joists on it and go to town. Anyway, here we're doing the back end of the containers. On the other side of this is the garage. So we're almost want to keep these steel, but then I decided against it, so we decided to frame it all out. But we'll do these two walls, then we're going to make a little bulkhead where the joint of the containers is. Typical in all the other rooms we're doing. So, oh, there it is. That wasn't good. I heard it, but I didn't see it. So Pop wanted to see the video, so I guess I'll show this to him. He's okay. You know, he didn't get hurt. He's got a little bruise on his arm. He's a good guy. He's pretty tough. So onwards, we move forward. Even though, you know, Pop's pretty tough, he didn't care that the thing hit him in the arm. We started making the wall on the end. It went really quick. These are very straightforward stud walls. The fun part's doing the bulkhead, where we have to screw a bunch of pieces together and make the bulkhead cover the joint on the container. So you might see us doing this pink stuff on the floor. That's sill seal. It actually takes out the imperfections in the floor right against the wall where we couldn't get the grinder to work on it. We put it in some walls. We don't do it in all the walls because it all depends on how flat the ground is there. So in a second, you're going to see us working on the joint. You see the blue tape on the ground. I swept a little bit, put the 2x4 down, and there's a tiny little, it's a very small few inch square piece that we had to support for this particular wall. And now we're just marking out where the door is going to go, rough opening and all that stuff. We had to build the wall kind of in the living room hallway area just to have the space, because we could not do it in the other, the hallway or the room itself. So anyway, here we go. You might see 3 2x4s here because I made a mistake. I put the cripple on the wrong end of the wall. I put it on the top side, not the bottom side. So I just put another 2x down there, moved the cripple down, moved the door over 1.5 inches. It is what it is. I wasn't going to cut it out and ruin that 2x4. Not at $8 a hit. So there you go. So mistakes might sound funny on framing, but today's prices, we're being quite careful on not making mistakes. So here we built the wall, we put it in place, and lo and behold, it actually lined up really nice. Everything's coming out really nice and true. The containers, you know, they're a little bent, but whatever. The walls still come out nice and flush, level, and everything's truing up really nicely. So, you know, you look down the hallway, everything's nice and true. Feels great. Even though we double check it with the level. I'm not sure you see it on the video. Yes, I'm doing that a second ago. But anyway, and now we put more nailers in place. That's the fun part, putting the nailers in for all the drywall. It's going to have to go up in a little bit. So anyway, that's the big task. So Pop left about 3 o'clock. We decided Angie and I had to work some more. We decided to start doing the utility room, which is at the very back end of the hallway you're looking at, right behind the stairway. So I built 2 walls. The one with that's leaning up on the wall already, on the container wall, that's the doorway to our master bedroom. Now we're building the wall that goes on the very back side of the wall. There you go. We're going to put in place, see our sill seal goes in, takes the imperfections out, put that in, knock it down, and then we kind of hold it up with some supports, and then we're going to do the very end wall. So I think after this wall, we do the very end wall, and then we're going to call it quits for that day. And then the next day we come back on the 3rd and bang out the other walls. They're more, I guess I'll say intense. They're not intense. They've got angles and stuff to go into the stairway and actually get the doorway in place as well. So you'll see that in a minute. So we're pretty consistent on the window location and stuff. This window is a little bit higher up. It's a small window. We need some room for countertop and where the washer dryer is going to go. That's to be decided, but in any case, pretty straightforward. We blocked it in, shoved everything in, secured it, and we called it quits. The next day we come back. This is the June 4th. We start building the rest of the walls. I'm going to build on the right side. You see a couple of beveled studs, and that's for the angle of the stairway. I'm going to be roughly 4 inches below the stairway. There's going to be a little bit of a wall. You can see right there. It's probably that's like 20 inches. That's going to be for some shelving and stuff. And right, you'll see in a second. You'll see a door that's going to be full height, 80-inch door. Typical stuff that goes in there. So in a second, you're going to see me put the wall against the container wall on the back side. I'm putting some nailers in there right now. Then in a second, you'll see me pull the wall in. It's got an angle where the same angle as the stairway has. And then a couple of walls are going to go, or one wall is going to go to that, going to go under the stairway. And then a full height wall is going to go where the door is going to be attached to that. There you go. See the wall right there. This is the doorway area where Angie's standing. That's where the door is going to be. And we had to do this full height because doors are 80 inches, and the angle we have on the stairway right there to make the utility room a little bigger. We move things out. But this wall I just put in, that's going to be an area for some shelving, and so forth and so on. So we'll see how that works out. So here we're nailing the doorway in. We built that in the living room as well. Came in, banged it up. We needed a persuader to get it in place, of course. We made it nice and tight, just so the walls are pretty rigid in there. You'll see a ton of 2x4s in the center connection. It is what it is. Those are all for nailing for the wall board. You have to make angle. Every time there's an angle or some kind of a joint, you have to have a nailer in there. So extra 2x4s and at $8 a hit. It's a $40, $50 item. It is what it is. So that utility room didn't take too long, from normal respect. So we're standing there trying to figure out what to do, and we decided to start the game room upstairs. So we're making the end wall. We're going to do this for that day, and then we're going to call it quits, and then come back the next day and finish it up. So we're doing the end walls. There's a slanted roof behind this. You can't really see it because we have film on the windows to protect them. So normally you can see a roof line there. Anyway, it feels really good up here. These containers are offset a little bit. The one on the right side is about 6 inches further down than the one on the left, and that's so it'll sit on the other containers as support. So you might notice it's slightly different. You'll notice that when we're making the bulkhead here, that we offset the bulkhead. It is roughly 6 inches off. Here we go. So this is the bulkhead we're making to cover up the joint, container joint where it looks welded up. And you'll see the big difference on the support piece. And these are just the top and bottom kind of, I call them plates, that we screw all the 2x4s to the studs, and then put that in place, hammer it in, and then the wall basically stands up on its own. So Angie and I tackled the back wall on in the game room. This required a little more work because we've got so many windows there. And you'll see it's kind of hard to see, but there's C-channels running up the wall in 3 different locations to hold the ceiling up. We have to make little recesses for those so the wall will actually fit against the wall snugly. Not a big deal. It's just they protrude out just a ½ inch extra. They're 2x2 square tubing, 4-inch wall holding up 4-inch big thick C-channels. Yeah, there's a little better look to that. But anyway, wasn't too bad. Just a little more detailed work. You see, we had to build the window on the left. We had to build in place, top plate, bottom plate, because we had to put 2 wall sections together. We could have built it all on the ground at the same time, but it gets a little awkward to put in place at that point. So we built 2 sections and put them. So Angie and I were cruising pretty good. We basically built the whole back wall and the a few hours. You'll see in a second we're going to work on the back section. Right here you see that window. That's the only movable window. One opens. Right where the ladder is going to be a sliding glass door. We're still going to make that wall section just so we have a bottom top kind of situated. But we are going to cut that out once we have to cut the metal. It's a 6x8 bore. We're going to use probably 4" by 4" angled iron to put all the frames in for the sliding glass doors, and more on that later. We're probably going to tackle that in the next week. So here we're building the section that goes on where the window is, and then we're going to come in and do the rest of it. Even though it's going to get, a lot of it's going to get cut out, we're going to reuse the wall, of course. We're not going to destroy the 2x. This keeps everything nice and true. And when we cut the wall sections out, you'll see that, I'm sure, in future videos. But this helps everything stay nice and flat and straight. So that's the plan anyway. So this wall gave us a little bit of a conundrum. We had to move the window bottom plate a couple times. It was a little bit tight. I'm not sure I show you this. Yeah, we're talking about it. And then we pull it down and we redo it. So the bottom section, we tried to cut it out a little bit, move it, but it didn't go. So we had to cut out about 1/4 inch, move the bottom plate down. Luckily, you have things like Sawzall that do all that. We destroyed those 2 pieces. Angie went out and cut some more. We move everything down, put it back in place, and we're good to go. So we had a little rainstorm while we were doing this. We're trying to get done, not get wet, you know. But the window right there, there's an overhang, so no water got in. But anyway, we finished the wall, and off we go to our brother-in-law's party, and we're good for the day. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Come back next set of videos. We're going to do some ceiling joists and some other stuff, so it should be fun. Later.